Is it counting? You can hear me? All right. Good work. You're already on it. I like it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Excited for this one today. This is one, open house is something that was huge for my business I'm going to shut this door real quick. Open houses is something that was huge to my business in the first year or two, getting a lot of clients. It's one of the only reasons I liked listings is because it gave me the opportunity to get sign calls, meet people at open house, and have a ton of opportunity there. So this is a tool that every agent should have in their toolbox. And if you can really hone it in, we were just talking about that building a balanced business class that I usually do once a year. Most high producers, people that have a lot of success, skew heavily into one kind of thing. Sometimes they're all listings and no buyers. They're all open houses and no listings. So you can have a ton of success, make a ton of money in this industry, getting really good at one thing. And there's a bunch of people that have a ton of success just doing open houses. And so in the marketing of this class, I said open houses better than Zillow leads. And so as I started thinking more about it, people buying leads, internet leads, Google, Facebook, Zillow, Realtor.com, whatever they might be, those are great because you can just give someone money and then your phone rings. But for the absolutely free, you can go out and get almost as many leads, and in my opinion, better quality leads than you can by getting Zillow. And than you can by buying leads from any platform. I'm going to stop saying Zillow. But the main thing is, again, they're free, and there we go. Graham, will you help it? All right, perfect.
Waiting for from a guy in jail, so I gotta take his call.
Tell him we said hi.
Hey, guy.
Priorities.
Okay. I know exactly who it was. Okay. Where was I?
Open houses are better than online leads.
Better than online leads. Okay. So again, for multiple reasons. One, they're free, and I think once you really crack the code on it, they give you a better conversion rate than I think a lot of online leads do. And if you're good at building pipeline and good at following up, you'll hear me say all the time, fortune's in the follow-up. You'll have a significantly higher conversion rate by doing good, successful open houses than you will by buying any kind of leads. And you'll save thousands of dollars a month. Or if you're doing the pay at close leads, like we do participate in some of that, you'll save tens of thousands of dollars because they take 25, 35, 40% sometimes at close. The only good thing about a platform lead is it just keeps coming. It just keeps coming. You got to keep paying for it, though. That's the problem. So you can wean yourself off a lead source and get into a free lead source, free and plentiful lead source, like open houses. Then you can literally make as much money as you want to make. It is literally just how much activity you want to do. And so, again, in our market here in Oklahoma City, about 2,000 to 2,500 houses sell per month. So 4,000 over the next 60 days. 4,000 to 5,000 houses are going to sell over the next 60 days. And every single one of those is going to have a buyer. And a lot of them, probably over half of those, are out doing open houses right now. And I'll bet you, I couldn't find this statistic, but just my own knowledge and experience, I'd have to guess at least 25% of them are unrepresented at this point. I don't know how many times we meet buyers and we buy something in the first 60 days we know them. They're out there walking around, looking, kicking tires, haven't picked a realtor yet, and they're out there unrepresented. So you crack this code, you've got 1,000 buyers a week going out shopping open houses. And there's really only, I haven't looked in a while, how many open houses are there per weekend? I mean, 100? You think more than that across the metro? You think 400?
Especially right now as listings are sitting, agents are
More, yeah. So there's not 1,000. And most agents think open houses don't work, so they're not doing them. Or they're doing it because they think, or because to appease the seller. Like you said, listings are sitting, I got to sit this open house so I don't lose the listing. They're not out there doing what they're supposed to capture buyers. And so that is, that's my intro. I started to get into my actual content for a second. I forgot I have slides. So I'm going to start with this. It's almost halftime. It is June 19th. In a couple of weeks, it will be the middle of the year. It will be halftime on your year. I don't know where you're at on your January to December 2025 goals. Are you halfway there or are you not? It's a perfect time to reevaluate. I just did a goal setting class for the Altus Board of Realtors yesterday. I was down in Altus. And it's perfect timing. A lot of people try to set goals in January. It doesn't matter when you set goals. Don't tie yourself to a calendar. You need to set goals for the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. But we're hitting halftime. We're in the middle of this selling season right now. If you're not where you wanted to be right now, hit the reset button. Adjust what you're doing. Increase what you're doing. Change what you're doing. Pivot. Use this as an opportunity to hit the reset button, figure out what I'm going to do the next half of this year. So it's halftime. Organize yourself. Finish strong, Audrey. All right. I'm talking to Audrey today. You guys are sitting in on a one-on-one meeting right now. Thank you for attending. Okay. Understanding the open house. Again, too many people, especially if you're new or getting into this, they don't understand the purpose. This has nothing to do with selling the house. If the house sells, great. But the house will sell when the right buyer sees it. Open house is very, 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 very unlikely in you selling that house by sitting at open house. So the purpose is to pick up buyer clients. That is it. This is a prospecting method for you to pick up buyer clients. That is it. So everything you do, put it through that frame. If I'm trying to make a decision of should I do this or should I do that or should I add this, should I bring this, should I prepare this way, does that help you get clients? Or is that something extra? Is that something you saw on YouTube? Is that something some random person told you to do or that the industry makes you think you should do? Or is it gonna make you get clients? Does that make sense? So put everything through that filter of, am I gonna get clients? Second thing is you are the product. This is across real estate in general. The house is not the product. You are the product. When we are meeting clients, I have to sell myself. Once they buy me, then I can sell them any house in the city, any house in the state, any property in the state. But you are the product, not the house. So don't showcase the house. The house is there, they can see it, they can walk around, they can touch it, they can feel it. Every conversation you're having is about them and their needs and your relationship and how you can provide value. It's all about selling the relationship and selling you. So don't get bogged down in showcasing the house. It is about you and that buyer. It is about getting clients. So know your numbers. I think it's also important. A lot of people don't do open houses because they don't know what the purpose is. I don't want to help Sydney sell her listing. I'm not going to sit in an open house because she asked me to or whatever, right? Why? Why not? I do. I have a financial gain in her selling a house, but everyone else does not. So they don't do it because they don't understand what they're trying to accomplish. The goal, right? Get clients. The second thing is they don't understand the numbers. They don't know, if I sit this house, how come I didn't sell this house today? They don't work, and I'm going to stop doing them forever. Or I sat 2 open houses and didn't sell a house, and I didn't get a client. Or I sat 3 or even 4 or 5 and haven't sold a house yet. You have to know the numbers, and if you understand what you're trying to accomplish and what the numbers are in this game, how many people you need to meet and how you need to nurture them and how long it might take to close them, then it gives you that staying power, that stickiness to stick with it and do what you know you're supposed to do. Hello, you're good, come on in. I normally change the doors so the person doesn't have to walk in front of everyone.
The walk of shame.
Come on in, yeah, no, you're good, no. So again, know the numbers. When you do understand the numbers, it gives you that stickiness, that sticking power to stick with it and understand it's a numbers game. It's going to take 60, 90 days, 180 days maybe to nurture prospects. But like I say here, hopefully you're getting 5 to 7 people through your open house a week. If you can do that, then you can normally play these averages. One of those 5 to 7 buyers should be a right now buyer. Someone who really needs to buy. We'll talk about how to categorize people later, but someone who needs to buy in the next 60 days. If you're getting 5 to 10 people coming through, one of those should be needing something in the next 60 days. So as you're doing these prospecting, as you're doing these prospecting methods, you're going to find low-hanging fruit. You're going to find people who need to buy or sell right now. But more importantly, you're building a pipeline, and that's what you have to focus on as you're doing these. So 1 right now buyer, and you should get 2 to 3 pipeline buyers sometime in the next 6 months. So again, 5 people walk through. 1, you're not going to get all 5 people's information, but know that if you have 5 to 10 people walk through, 3 of them are going to probably, statistically, not that day, but if you do it across a long enough time horizon, 2 to 3 of them are going to buy something in the next 180 days. And if you're doing that every single week, then you're meeting 3 every single week. You got 12 in a month that you're meeting that are buying something in the next 6 months. You do it for 12 months, and you have this huge pipeline. And by 12 months happens, everyone you met in month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is starting to close, and that's how we do pipeline.
Drop down.
Dan? Am I in it? Feel free to move it around. So again, understand what your goal is. What are you trying to accomplish? We're getting buyers. That's it. Not trying to sell the house. And even if someone's like, but if we can sell the house, it's also good, right? No, don't even think about it. I want you to get a client. That house will sell when the right buyer walks through it and sees it. I can't stop it from selling. When the right person sees it, they're going to buy it. When the price meets the condition, the market will deem that it is priced appropriately, and the market will absorb it, and it will sell. You cannot control the market. You can price it right and market it right, but you cannot control the market. So your job is to pick up buyers. You are the product. Know the numbers. If you know the numbers, it'll make it easier to do it when it's still not working, knowing you haven't done enough of them. All right, finding the open house. So this is one of my biggest pet peeves, and I'm not going to get mad at anyone, but I will try to politely correct you in how we do this. I think there's a proper way. Treat this like a job. Pretend like if you do this, you might make $6,000 or $9,000, or depending on the price you're sitting at, $10,000, $15,000. Pretend you're going to make a bunch of money if you do this, okay? If you act like that, you're going to treat it with the attention to detail that it deserves. I see too many people think, I'm not doing, it's Friday afternoon, and like, I'm not doing anything on Sunday. Does anyone need an open house sit? And then they just go sit, whoever tells them to. Or they get on our Facebook page and see that Sydney's house needs to be sat, and so they say, I'll take it. They have no idea what the house looks like, no idea where it is, and that you're not setting yourself up for success there. So you can still take these open houses as people ask them for them, but make sure they're going to fit your criteria, they're going to match your buyer avatar, and they're going to be in the area you want to work in. Pretend like you might make 10 grand this week. So treat it with that same attention to detail. So treat this like a job. Identifying your property. So there's a couple steps to this. Regardless of how much attention to detail you put into it, you might sit in an open house and get skunked. It's gonna happen. You might sit there 2-3 weeks in a row and no one comes through. I would recommend you change after that. But you're never gonna sit in a house and every week it's got exactly 7 to 10 or 5 to 7 people and it's perfect. Just not how it works. Weather comes through, there's Thunder games, there's football games, whatever, right? Some weekends are good, some weekends are bad. It's hot, it's cold, it's really nice. People are out at parks instead of, whatever it might be. So you're never gonna have consistency. So even if you spend a ton of time analyzing and pick the perfect property, you still might get skunked. But there are certain criteria that I've created over my tenure that I think increase the probability of you having more attendees and higher quality attendees come through them. So identifying your property, we want to prospect for your avatar. If you live in Norman, don't sit open houses in Edmond. And vice versa, right? If you don't want to work with a buyer in that area where that house is, don't sit an open house there. That's the number one thing. People just kind of go wherever they're asked. It's terribly it's not worth it, because even if you get a buyer, I don't want to drive 45 minutes to show every single house. It's not worth it. So prospect for your buyer avatar. If you don't want to work with buyers in the $150,000 range, don't sit. That's my fault. Don't sit open houses in the $150,000 range. Yeah, and then we're gonna throw focus on. That's what I get. Don't look at that. So if you don't want to work with people in the 150 range, people in the a different area, city, whatever, be strategic, right? Pick the place you want to work, because you're going to know more about the area if you work in that area or live in that area. And if it's not worth the price or the time for you and where you're at in your business, then pick it accordingly and strategically. So price, location, pick your buyer avatar. So if you have no strategic buyer avatar and you're just I want the highest probability for traffic in my open house, this is what I recommend. That's blurry. Any prospecting you want to do, whether it be seller prospecting, buyer prospecting, this is where I recommend doing it. Right in the median price range of your city. Edmond has a different median than Oklahoma City and has a different median than Moore and Norman. So whatever market you're looking at, it's very easy to find. Go find that average. And the reason is, everyone familiar with the bell curve? The most amount of buyers and the reason it's the median is because the most amount of buyers and the most amount of listings and the most amount of transactions happen right here. So what I don't want is to pick up a $100,000 buyer and guess what? There's nothing to sell them. There's no houses for $100,000. Or awesome, I picked up $1 million buyer. There's 5 houses to show them in this city or this zip code or whatever, and they've seen them all and they don't like them. So now I've got this buyer that I can't do anything with, right? And I want volume, I want sales velocity in my business. I don't want a bunch of listings sitting forever, and I don't want a bunch of buyers shopping for 6 months, right? I want sales velocity. So you sit right here, this is where there's the greatest probability of most people being available and most listings to sell them. Does that all make sense? Statistically, I'm trying to increase my probability of having the most amount of people that can walk through my open house and then having the most amount of results that I can provide them. And that's going to give me, hopefully, a higher likelihood of people coming through. So again, this median might shift, this bell curve shifts with each city. It shifts every 6 months, it moves up and down. But if you can do your prospecting around the median average, it's a great, if I sell a house at 300 and I make $9,000 and I'm on Copper Creek's 100% commission plan, that's a pretty good weekend for me, I think. I don't know about anyone else. So move with your median. You're gonna have the most amount, and it's gonna give you a pretty good paycheck. That's what I would recommend when you're shopping for houses to sit. Some of the other criteria, so price and location, avatar and location. I like to find houses that are 2 weeks or less on the market. Less people have seen them. That's when they're new on the market. That's when the biggest bulk of people who are in the market currently might want to come and look at it. After 2 weeks, everyone's either seen it online, gone and looked at it in person, or they don't want to, and then you're just kind of waiting for new buyers to come in the market, right? Maybe 5, 10 buyers a week or a month are coming in the market for that property. So it's a lower likelihood of a higher volume of people walking through. So you do a property, if you can get one in the first week, even better. If you can do a property that hasn't seen a Sunday yet, maybe it got listed on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, great, because that means it's never had an open house. There's a higher probability of people wanting to come out and take a look at it. So 2 weeks or less on the market, vacant, just because it's easier to schedule. There's less, you don't have to go through the sellers. Sellers aren't gonna be probably watching you on their secret Ring cameras or teddy bear cameras or whatever the hell else people have nowadays. And it's easy to schedule. You can get in, and if you don't have a listing, it's easy to reach out to Sydney, whose property is vacant. She'll say, please, yes, sit it, go. So you have a higher likelihood of getting it actually sat open. So when you're finding them, again, these are the criteria I like to plug into MLS when I'm looking for a property to sit. Go to the market. Don't just go to your brokerage Facebook page. Don't just go to your team leader. Don't just go to your broker. Go to the market and find a property that's going to give you the highest likelihood for success. So start with your listings. If you have a listing that matches these criteria, sit it. It's easiest. It's yours. You can sell it. Makes you look good to your sellers. Doesn't do anything for the house, but makes you look good. Maybe you can get some clients. You can move your property. It helps. A lot of people don't have listings that they want to sit or don't have them at all. That's okay. Also, let me say this. Just because you have a listing doesn't mean you have to sit that listing. Big misconception. I've seen people waste weeks and months sitting on terrible open houses because it's their listing and they feel like they have to sit that one. Wrong, false. And if you have a seller that's like, why aren't you at my house? What you can tell them is, we sat at your house, tried it, no one came through, so I'm better off sitting at another house, finding buyers that I can bring back to your house, right? Because when I sat here, no one came through. When I sat here, I got 10 people came through, and I'm telling them all about your house. So your job is to get buyers. And then I don't care what house we sell. Our house will sell. There's 7,000 agents out there. Someone will sell our listing. My job is to pick up a buyer and sell them another listing. Or ours, I don't care, doesn't matter. I'm trying to get a buyer client. I'm gonna kick that dead horse today, buyer clients. So first start with your listing. If you have one, great. If you don't, we go on to the next one. Go to your brokerage listing. Only because of ease. It's easier if someone in this room talks to someone else in this room and they get an open house. It's easier. I know you, I trust you, we've met each other, we've seen each other, it's just easier and quicker. If the brokerage doesn't have a good one that you like and want, then just go to any listing. Go to the open market, open the MLS up, plug in less than 2 weeks on the market, plug in my price range, plug in my city, plug in vacant, and then see what's out there. Just start going around, clicking on them, seeing what they're at. If you can't find one, start to broaden it. Maybe it's 3 weeks on the market, or maybe adjust the price points a tad, or maybe not vacant and just kind of see if you can find one that is willing. But try to stay as close to these criteria as you can, because that's going to create the highest likelihood of more traffic. And if you get a buyer, higher likelihood of a quicker sale because there's more product to sell. So this is the script that I send out.
I do have one other thing to add.
Please.
Is look at the pictures, and
Yeah.
I like to find them that are staged because I like to sit when I'm in. So.
Working smart, not hard. Yeah. I like to see it.
You have to stand
See, that's the kind of insight you don't get online. You gotta,
I mean, I have my sports chair that I bring.
yeah, you walk in and just pop it open.
I need a parking lounge.
I love it.
And
Yeah,
beyond that, listings that have good photos, because the buyers are gonna look online
Bingo.
first and then come to your open house.
Yeah.
You may have someone who drives by an open house sign and pops in, but they're on Zillow looking for open houses.
over half the people should be intentionally. You're a destination for them. You're not a stop by. But signage is important too. We'll talk about that. But yeah, yes, exactly. So when you're shopping for a house to sit, is it attractive to you? It's exactly right. Photos good? Does it show well? Is it is it staged? Is the furniture nice and good? Or is it like someone's iPhone photos and there's laundry everywhere and it's not marketed properly? It's going to have a lower probability of people coming to look at it. So yeah, all these things. Put your consumer brain on for a second. What would I want to go look at if I was shopping in the 300 range in Norman that hadn't hit the market yet? What would I want to go look at? This is an attractive house. I'd like to go look at this. And again, try to stay in your median, right? 3 or 4 bed. 2 beds are going to have less people. 2 bath is going to get more attraction than a 1 bath, right? So be strategic with what we're picking here. Think outside the box a little bit. Don't just take an opportunity to go sit in a house for 2 hours. So the script is super simple. If you can't find your own listing, if your brokerage doesn't have a listing, go out to the market, identify one you like, and it's a super simple script. This is what I do. You can say whatever you want. This is my script. Hey, Sydney, this is Brett with Copper Creek. I was supposed to have an open house this weekend, but it's not available anymore. I saw you had a great listing on Main Street. I love, would you be open to me holding it open this Sunday? That's it. Send it in text. And they're going to say yes, no, maybe, or they might have a question. So for me, when I was doing this, realtors are not, depending on, not Sydney, other realtors are not the best at communicating sometimes. So it might be like 4 hours, or they might not know, and they might have to text their broker and say, is this okay? Is this allowed? Can I do this? And it might be 5 hours before you get a response back. Well, if you do that on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and then it becomes Friday, or then they say no, so you have to find another person. Now it's Saturday afternoon and you don't have one yet. I like to text 2 at a time or even 3 at a time, because there's probably a likelihood that they say no, or that they don't respond at all. So give them 20 minutes or so, but if you don't hear from them pretty quick, I like to kind of move on, because your job is to have one scheduled and have it planned. And if they say yes, you can sit it, then kind of have to backpedal a little bit. I appreciate it. We found another one while I was waiting or whatever. But I like to do multiple. Or if you know someone else in the brokerage that might want it, refer it to them and say, this is a great house. I identified it as a great house, and they're open to having it sat. Would anyone else like to sit it? But I like to, again, the important piece is that you have a house identified early enough in the week where you can prepare and market it so that you have good traffic. That's the number one priority. If you annoy some agent that you've never met and it's never met you and it's going to forget about it in 24 hours, I don't want that, but I'd rather you have clients that you can capture. Questions on this? There are some brokerages, I'll say don't text RE/MAX. The broker is under the impression that it's illegal. It's not. I've verified. But RE/MAX won't let anyone sit other than RE/MAX. Some other agents, yeah, some other agents might be picky with it, but
EXP says that too. They
Yeah.
have to have mutual permission.
from like the seller and brokers, and yeah, so I don't subscribe to that line of thinking. So I'm comfortable with it, people doing it on ours, and I'm comfortable with our agents doing it on others. So if someone says no, don't argue. Just say thank you, appreciate your time, and go on to the next one. So finding your open house is one of the most important pieces. If you're not setting yourself up for success early on, no matter how good you are in the open house, if you're sitting bad open houses, you're not going to get clients. You're not going to get traffic. So finding the right open house, this is where most people, I won't say get lazy, but look for shortcuts. This is where most people shortcut the process and they don't find good open houses. So I would recommend spending energy on this and getting it identified early. Did that move? No. Preparing for your open house. This is the second place people don't prepare properly, and it costs them, I think, business if they don't do it properly. This is also the number one way, if you are inexperienced or inexperienced in an area, that this is the number one way you can become an expert in that area and an expert, period. If you lack the confidence because maybe you haven't sold the houses you want to sell, or you haven't worked with buyers in this area or this price point or whatever, this is preparing properly is how you can be an expert really, 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 really quickly. So First is I'd like to have the property identified by Wednesday. That gives me time to prepare, like we're about to talk about, put a sign out, market it on the MLS so that shoppers on Realtor.com and Zillow and Homes and all that can see it and plan their weekend. You don't want to advertise it on like a Saturday evening or a Sunday morning because people might already have their routes planned and you might have lower traffic. So getting it out there middle of the week is going to be best. Put a sign in the front yard as quick as you can. As soon as they say yes, go put a sign in the yard so that neighbors, traffic, all kinds of stuff. I'd hesitate to put them on the main streets right away because, as Amy and I were discussing, they get stolen. They grow legs and walk away, and they're $5 a piece. So enter at your own risk, right? As you put them out there, it's great. The longer they're out there, the better. But HOAs take them, the city takes them, lawn companies take them, or run over them with their, they do all kinds of stuff.
Or they eat them with their weed eater.
Yeah, or they just destroy it. Yeah. I see a lot of those like white wood frame like for sale signs. They're just eaten to like weed eater just takes them to the side and they're almost cut in half. So put a sign out immediately. We'll put our directionals out normally Saturday evening or Sunday morning is when I like to put my directionals out. Advertise on the MLS and any other social media as immediately as well. So if it's not your listing, reach out to the listing agent. Say, please advertise this for Sunday 2 to 4 or whatever. Make sure they do it. Check it. If they don't immediately say yes, with all of our like Roush Coleman Lennar properties, I get to them as soon as I can, but sometimes it's a day later, and sometimes I forget. I forgot before. So follow up if the person hasn't done it. So, but advertise it as soon as you can. The longer it's advertised, the more people can see it and plan their weekends to come see it. And then any other social media. If you are active on social media, if you want to go do some live video, record some video, drum up some sort of interest, social media. Now with AI and the algorithms and all that stuff, it knows who's shopping for houses. It knows who likes stuff about real estate. And if you do reels or you do stuff that has reach, it will send it to people who shopping for houses in Mustang, shopping for houses in Norman. It will do that for you. So if you say the words, AI can read the words you're saying and it pushes it out to people who might be interested in that stuff. So it does get reach beyond your normal followers, certain platforms. So if you are the person who likes doing social media and can create videos and stuff like that, this is a good way to do it because it will push it out to people interested in that area. Whether they follow you or not, the AI algorithm will push it out to the people who are interested. Okay, this is where where we separate the wheat from the chaff here. So if you are not previewing 5 open houses or 5 properties around your open house every single weekend, unless you are just a open house ninja like Graham, or maybe I'll say, you have to be doing this. This is the #1 way to increase your probability of capturing clients at open houses. If you don't know anything more than the buyer knows, or anything more than Zillow knows, what value, put yourself in their shoes. Why on earth would they give you their information? Everything you know is online. But if you know more than what's online, or you have more intimate details than what they can find online, you are valuable to them. And it's easy to show that value when you have that knowledge. So I preview at least 5 properties. And if you're doing the same open house over and over again, or in the same area, you preview 5 one week, the next week preview a different 5. Now I know about 10 houses around there. The next week I do it again. Now there's 15 houses I know about, and I've walked in every single house that buyer could possibly be interested in at a certain point, right? How freaking valuable are you that you've walked in everything already and you know all about it? You taking notes when you walk through them, and we'll talk about that in a second. But previewing open house is the #1 way. My first year, I did an open house. I probably did, 80 to 100 open houses in my first year. Saturdays, Sundays as a part-time agent. And every week, I'm previewing houses. By the end of that year, the number of houses I've been in, the knowledge I had just on accident by just looking at so many houses on the MLS and scheduling tours and walking through them, I knew more. I could tell you average price points, average price per square foot. I could tell you if this neighborhood had brick or siding. I could tell you the years they were built. I just looked at so many houses in my first year. And so if you want to accelerate your knowledge and your confidence, accelerate the action you're taking. That's it. I said this probably 100 times yesterday. Don't wish things were easier, wish you were better. And so go be the person that deserves that person's business. Go be the agent that everyone would want to have. Go become that person, because not everyone's that person right now. And you can go become it very easy. This is an effort thing. That's all this is. This has nothing to do with how good you are, what experience you have, nothing. This is effort. Did I go preview my 5? Don't stop at 5. Go grow your knowledge. The more your knowledge grows, the more confident you become, the more knowledgeable you become, the more valuable you become. So when I do this, what I like to do is I like to go find houses nearby. These are going to be houses that this buyer might also be interested in. So again, if I'm sitting in a house that's listed at $300,000, it's in Mustang, it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, it has a bonus room maybe. I'm assuming this buyer wants to be in the Mustang School District. They want to be between, 275 and 325. They probably want a 3 or 4 bed, and they probably want a bonus room. Maybe they got kids. Okay, I'm assuming that's who's going to walk through. So then what else would they be interested in? I'm going to find properties. And then I go view those properties. But I try to find one that's larger. Maybe if mine's a 3-bed, I want to go try and find a 4-bed. I want to try and find one that's smaller, maybe just less feet. One that's about the same, but maybe different floor plan. Maybe this one's got white kitchen, this one's got stained wood kitchen, something like that. A fixer-upper, one that might need a little TLC, and then something that's like knocked out. That's ideal. Now, you won't always be able to find all 5, but the reason here is once I get into a conversation with these buyers at this open house, if I've seen one of everything, no matter what they say, because they're not going to like the house. So no matter what they say, I'm going to have something to talk about them with. Have you seen this house? Have you seen this house? If you want a 4th bed, have you seen this one? If you want something bigger, have you seen this one? If you want something smaller, if you don't like the kitchen, yeah, me either. Have you seen this one? Whatever it might be, right? This gives us a ton of ammunition to talk about with the buyers. That's why I like to, don't just go look at 5 random houses. Try to strategically spread them out criteria-wise so that you have something to talk about. No matter what that buyer says, you have something to talk about. Questions on the previewing piece? That's a huge, huge piece.
Are you just previewing vacant houses as well, or are you, and then what do you say? Do you say you have a potential?
No, so you can go request a showing and showing time, and there is a option. You can do you can request a first showing, a second showing, an inspection, appraisal, but there's something called agent preview. So you would just click agent preview, and then you go, unlock the door, walk in as if you have a buyer. Again, seller might look at your Ring camera and be like, why the hell was there no buyer there? And it's like, I told you I was an agent preview. I'm previewing your home so I can hopefully sell it for you. But yeah, you just do agent preview and go show it. Doesn't have to be vacant. You have to go through showing time though.
Right.
Yeah.
And be sure to schedule it as an agent preview.
Yes.
Because
They'll get
I've
upset.
had agents just request it as a showing,
Mhm.
and then I go for feedback, and they're like, "Oh no, sorry, it was
Mhm.
just a preview," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Would have been nice to know."
Yeah.
So-
Right. Yeah.
So
And
my
we-
seller doesn't get excited.
Sweeps and vacuums and makes the bed.
Yeah.
and does everything else.
Yeah.
It would
I
be
can
decorated.
at least explain. Or it's like this time, I would be flexible if there was a buyer, but if it's a preview, can you come an hour later? Can you come to it? Yeah. Right. So
Yeah.
just, and then that way, if they come back, and you can get upset. You can say, I told you it was a preview. Like, dude, you didn't read. That's not me. That's not on me. Okay. So previewing 5 houses, huge piece to get. Yeah.
The only other thing I would say, and I don't know if you'll have this in another slide, but your previews, if you have the ability, make them for sale by owners.
Yeah, big piece. I will talk kind of about that, but yeah, for sale by owners are a good ace up the sleeve. Is that right? Ace in the hole, whatever they say. It's a good thing to have that a lot of people don't know about also. So printing MLS sheets. So the other way we prepare is we want to print all the stuff we're going to bring and hand out. So I like to print client full without header. If that doesn't make sense to you, I'm going to show you. You identify your property. You go to search criteria, your property you're going to sit. You come down to the bottom, you hit print. It's going to take you here. This is the print screen. There's a bunch of different ways you can print this property with different details, different layouts, different everything. You want client full, because if you do agent full, it's going to put the listing agent's contact information on there and a bunch of other information that the buyers don't need. So you do client full, it hides all that, hides days on market are on there. Days on market on there. Client full hides days on market, hides listing agent, hides a bunch of other real estate agent stuff. Then you go over here to print without header or footer. And I'll tell you why in a second. But what that looks like is If I print with the header, my name, my face, my contact information's up top. I'll tell you why that's bad in a second. So you want to print without header or footer. It's just a cross-property client full, has all the necessary detail, but nothing extra and nothing that's going to hinder us in the future, and nothing that they can go around us. You know, you don't want them to just get to their car and call the listing agent. So you want to print without the header. And the reason is, we'll talk about this more in a minute, you don't want to give this client any reason to not give you their information. And if I say, you know, give me your information and all blah, 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 and they say, oh, I got it, I'll call you. I'll call you if I need you. They won't give you the information. Hide it. We don't put business cards out. Do not put your business cards out. No, we'll talk about this. Well, I'm jumping ahead. But you want to hide your contact information. If it's your listing, a lot of people, if they're listing, they do an agent full because it has their contact information at the bottom. You don't want any contact information anywhere. The more contact information you have out, it's not marketing. You are shooting yourself in the foot because you're going to give them opportunities to back out of this conversation. The next thing is to print a single line printout of nearby properties. So those 5 properties we previewed, or 10, or however many we previewed, we're going to print a single line printout. So we're going to identify the 5. We're going to go into search criteria. We're going to check the 5 that we previewed. We're going to click print, and then I have my own single line view that I've created. If you don't have your own, you would just click agent single line. And then again, print without header. Because if that has a header on it too, it's one more thing they can just grab your number off of. So when you click my open house, has my own details on there that I added that I want for my open houses. But agent single line is really, really similar. It looks like this. So it's going to have property, bed, bath, square foot, list price. And so you print this out too, and this is a reference. You only print one of these. The MLS sheet, you want to print 10, 20, however many people you think you'll have. You only print one of these. And then as you do your previews, I print these out before I do my previews. And as I do my previews, I'm taking notes of stuff that I can't see online. What is some detail about this house that you cannot get from looking at photos and reading on the MLS? Is it really close to the dog food factory and all you smell is dog food? Is it a mile from the treatment plant? Is it, does it back up to, I don't know, what things you can't see online? What is some stuff the marketing maybe hid from you on purpose? Or just benefits of it. Big backyard, great remodel, whatever, stuff like that. So you're going to be taking notes as you're previewing all these houses. You're taking notes, and it should look something like this. So it's just going to be, 615, big backyard, nicely remodeled. 904, tons of cars parked on the street. Maybe it's a bunch of rentals down the street. 401 needs paint real bad. A new coat of paint would make it look amazing, right? You say stuff. These two are the same property, but they're in a neighboring community. This one backs up to a hoarder house, so there's washing machines in the front yard. This one's been on the market for 250 days, so we might have some opportunity for a price there. This one's way over comps, but it's really amazing. This one is way under comps, could be a good opportunity. And then down here is where we put FSBOs. Any off-market thing we know about, any FSBO we know about, anything that's not on the MLS, I'm going to jot down. And the purpose of this, I have this out on the counter next to all my stuff, is I want them to look at this and think, oh shit, that's a lot of good information as I'm talking about it. And I want them to see it while I'm talking about it. I want to refer to it when I'm talking about it. I want them to think this is the holy grail of this neighborhood. If you want to shop for homes in this neighborhood, you need to see everything on this list. And the more you can create that it looks like there's a ton of information and data on it, because there is, it's your cheat sheet too, the more valuable it looks, the easier it becomes to get contact information. The more value you provide and the more perceived value you have from them, the easier it is to get contact information. If you do this right, buyers will even start walking over and looking at it with you. And that's when you've really got them, you've got them hooked in, right? Because now they're interested on this data you have on this piece of paper. And then, anything, if there's coming soon on the MLS, those don't pop up on Zillow, write that down. You can either print it or write it down so it looks special. When I was in my heavy production, I worked in certain areas. I was driving those areas. I had buyers in those areas. I had listings in those areas. I saw moving trucks. I saw remodel signs in front yards. I saw all kinds of stuff, and I would learn about what's going on there. If I see a house being remodeled and there's a construction sign out front, I call them and I say, hey, is this home going to be for sale soon, or is it just a homeowner remodeling? I'm trying to figure out all this stuff. I reach out to builders in the area to find out what off-market inventory they have coming up. I reach out to people that I know flip houses constantly and ask what properties they have coming up soon. The more stuff you know about that buyers don't know about, the more valuable you become. And again, that's an effort thing. That's you going around and turning over stones and looking under, like just finding stuff. Resourcefulness. The number one thing an agent can be is resourceful. So we're going to print our single line tube. We're going to fill it out with all of our stuff on it. And that's going to make us look valuable. It's going to make buyers want our information. Oh, God bless. I'm going to nail this to the floor. It's a joke. Okay. Okay, any questions on the prep? A lot of stuff on the prep. Questions on previewing, what we print, how we print, why we print, process to do that? Perfect. All right. Okay, hosting the open house. So, a couple of things. Goal is to capture information. I want you to leave having given me your email and or phone number. That's what I want. However, we do not put sign-in sheets out. We do not put business cards out. We don't ask if they have a realtor. And we don't ask if they're pre-approved. A lot of counterintuitive points up here, right? The goal of the open house is to capture information. That's it. If you start asking intrusive stuff, they're gonna be off-put. Like, why do you care if I'm approved? I'm not working with you. Like, that's none of your business. That's not your problem if I'm pre-approved or not yet. You have to earn the right to ask if they're approved. Earn the right to learn what their needs are. Earn the right to know if they have a buyer agent or not. So don't ask these things. One, no sign-in sheets, because most realtors, they sit there and you walk in, they say, welcome, please sign in. And if you haven't provided value before you ask for information, you're gonna get fake information. Or they're gonna say, no, thank you. We're just bouncing around, we're not looking, or whatever. No business cards, because every opportunity, every time you give them information, it's one reason they don't have to give you theirs. So no, and even when people say, do you have a business card? I say, I ran out. Let me text you my information, right? Do not give them a business card. That is a cop-out for them. If they're serious, get their information. And if they don't give it to you, they don't give it to you. But don't give them a reason not to give it to you. I bought, when I first got started, I think I bought 1,000 business cards. I think I still have like 920 of them in my drawer at my house. I just don't give them out. If I want to do business with someone, I'm going to get their information. I'm not going to give them my card because they're not going to call. They're going to meet someone else. When the timing's right, they're going to meet someone else and they're going to work with them. But if I get their information, I follow up, and then when the timing's right, I'm following up with them and they work with me. Don't ask if they have a realtor. Same thing. Don't give them a reason to tell you to buzz off, right? If they're sharp and they've been doing, and they're further in the buying funnel and they're getting close to buying, they know that maybe that another realtor might have said, like, if you're working with someone, I don't want to bother you or whatever. So they know if I say I have a realtor, that means you can't talk to me anymore, right? So don't ask. Just become their realtor. Start asking questions their realtor would ask. Start providing value their realtor would provide. And I promise, if they have one, a real one that they work with, they're going to stop you. Or they're going to say something like, I love this, I'm going to send it to my realtor or whatever. If they really have one, they'll let you know. Now, I've worked with agents, or I've worked with buyers, even shown houses, and then found out brother's a realtor or sister or whatever it might be. That uncle, I had one where I showed them 4 or 5 houses and their uncle just wrote the offer. So that happens. But you will capture more business and close more business. You will create way more opportunity for yourself than the time you waste. Maybe you waste 5 hours, but you're going to get 5 extra sales, right? So that chasing that opportunity is more valuable. So don't ask if they have a realtor. Don't overstep it, and if they say they do, stop. But a lot of times what they'll say is, if you said you work with a realtor, and they'll say yes, and I'll say, oh, who is it? And they'll say, John, honey, what's John's last name? And like, that's not their realtor. They met him on Zillow 5 weeks ago when they wanted to see a house, and John's not talked to him since. I'm their realtor, right? So don't ask, just become their realtor. Do the things that their realtor should do. Provide the value, ask the questions. And then don't ask if they're pre-approved. Again, doesn't matter yet. They're not working with you. You're trying to build rapport, find out what they want, find out what they need, Did I talk about, yeah, LP Mama. We'll talk about LP Mama. I'm trying to figure out what they want, what they need to see if I can help them or not. Once I've done that, I usually, and people can challenge me on this and push back on this probably, and they probably have a really strong point. I don't like to talk about pre-approval until I've shown them a house, or unless it comes up. If they mention it, I'll ask, but I want to get my hooks in them. I'm okay showing a house for free. I'm going to get more clients by doing that. And I saw Sydney's skin crawl. So there are, I am okay. I'm much more free with my ability to provide value and capture. And again, I've shown houses to people that can't buy houses. I've done it quite a bit, but I promise I've closed more deals by doing that because I built more rapport faster. However, if you want to do it, and when you do it, yeah, please. Yeah,
It's also a safety thing as a woman too, making sure that they're qualified.
very valuable. Very valuable. Getting copies of it and vetting them some
Something to make sure
makes a
they're
ton of
legit and
makes a
not
ton of
just a
sense.
random guy.
I say that all the time. Like, as a male, I don't think about it, but I could be taken advantage of just as easy as like I'm not some trained assassin or anything but I don't think about it. Yeah, it's like, check out that basic. We're gonna edit that. What time is it? 46 minutes. Yeah. So, but there is I did talk to someone who taught. We might have this person in situational awareness is a pretty good thing to be aware of. As we get off topic for a second, trust your instinct. If you don't feel, it's not worth it. Leave, get out, changes, whatever. So, but yes, very, very valid point.
Or pay for forewarned. I have forewarned.
Forewarned's great. I had it and turned it off. I might get it and just have it for the
love it.
brokerage. It does a really good job.
I look at it every time before I
Anytime
put
someone
something
calls,
on there.
smart. Yeah, very smart.
It tells them.
Make
their
sure the
criminal
number.
record. I have one with 134 criminal infractions.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so I didn't.
Yeah, no kidding.
And
Meet
when
me
you
at
see
this
domestic-
address. It's the police department.
Yeah. When it's like this, domestic abuse.
Oh yeah,
You know,
violent.
Stuff like violent, and you're thinking, you know what,
Not
I
worth
don't
it.
wanna have-
No, not worth it at all. Yeah, absolutely. Refer it to a big guy
Yeah,
and
exactly.
get your
I take
referral
my
fee.
son with me. He's a
Yeah.
bodybuilder.
Yeah. Do what? Send it to Graham. Graham will gladly put his life on the line for a sale. So when you do ask, when you have that conversation, when you feel like you've earned, when you're having a conversation, a back and forth, and you feel like you've earned that, that's kind of what I gauge. Do I feel like I've earned the right to ask if they're pre-approved or not? Because I like to build that rapport first, and then that question's less intrusive. And you can do it during the open house if you feel like you're gaining that rapport. That one we did, Henry, they kind of mentioned it, and so I followed up asking about it. But when you do, you want to ask an assumptive question. This is how you ask if they're pre-approved without sounding, because if you ask, are you pre-approved, sometimes it feels like, can you even afford this house? And that's not what you want. You just can't, you're going to rub them wrong. So what I like to do is say, are you guys happy with your current lender? And it implies they've already been pre-approved, they've already talked to someone, and if they haven't, they will correct me. And they'll say, we actually haven't talked to a lender yet. Awesome, I have a person that you should reach out to, and it takes 15 minutes and blah, blah, blah. Or they're gonna say, yes, I am happy with my lender. Oh great, who is it? They tell me, and then I can, if we're in the lending conversation, I'll go into the benefits of shopping rates and all that stuff. But if you're just trying to vet them, are they pre-approved or not, in a setting, like a quick setting at open house, an easy question is, are you guys happy with your current lender? Not are you approved, not have you talked to a lender. It's just like, I assume you already have. If you haven't, oh my gosh, this person's the best. Let me send him over. So I don't like to ask until I feel like I've earned the right to ask that question. Does that make sense? So if you want to, that's an easy, very light-handed approach to asking that question. So when you're hosting the open house, the point is to make them feel comfortable, get them to drop their guard. When people walk into an open house, they think you're trying to sell them that house, right? Just like walk onto a car lot or walk onto a furniture store or something like that, you're going to walk up and say, hey, how can I help you? Yeah, shopper stalkers or whatever. How can I help you? I'm just looking, right? They obviously came for a reason, but that's what they're thinking is they think you're going to force this house down my throat and I don't want to buy this. People want to buy, they don't want to be sold. So that's why part of our strategy is to kind of greet them, leave them alone, greet them again, leave them alone, and kind of get them to drop their guard by asking questions. So the goal is to make them feel comfortable, get them to drop their guard. Because right away, especially if they're really close to the buying, if they're low in that buying funnel and they're getting close to buying, they're real protective. They're more protective with their information. They're more protective with their time, everything. So if they're really serious about buying soon, they don't want to be sold. They want to buy what they like. So they're going to be shorter with you. They're going to be harder to maybe get that information. Not all. Some people are just free with everything. But a lot of people, the more serious they are, the less they want to be sold, the more cautious they are about being sold, and the more protective they are with their information. So we've got a 3-touch system where we're going to kind of touch them, leave them alone, touch them, leave them alone, touch them, and try to get them to drop their guard by asking kind of, non-intrusive questions. And while you're doing this, in the back of your mind, you should be thinking LP Mama. Does anyone know what LP Mama is? It's an old school thing.
Location, price, motivation, appointment.
Agent,
Agent.
mortgage, appointment. There you go.
Yeah, I took off the MA and just went location, price,
Motivation.
appointment.
That's you can really just do this in the open house. I'm just trying to figure out what they want, and then we'll do appointment, everything later. Because again, so it's location. You're trying to find motivation. That's what we're trying to find. Timeline and motivation. So it's location, price, motivation. So where are they looking? How much they want to spend? What's driving them to buy a house? What's their motivation? What's their timeline? Do they have an agent? Have they talked to a mortgage lender? And then set the appointment. So that's kind of in a sign call or in a lead. If you get a lead online or if you meet them at an open house, that's kind of you want to accomplish these things, LP Mama. And now you have the information you need to go provide value to them. But again, in the open house, don't ask if they have an agent, just become their agent. Ask the mortgage question when it's appropriate. And then appointment, in open houses, sometimes it's tough to get that appointment, but I'll talk about it in a minute. If you can get an appointment at the open house, that's great. You're locking them in big time. And we do try to do that as a strategy, and we'll talk about that in a second. But as you're talking to them throughout, this is just kind of an overview of, we're going to talk about the system. This is an overview. Be thinking LP Mama the whole time. You have to figure out what they need before you can provide value. Okay. So when you're in the open house, again, we kind of have later, buddy. Thanks for coming.
Yep.
Kind of a 3-touch system when we want to approach them, talk to them, let them go, approach them, talk to them, let them go, approach them, talk to them, and then hopefully capture information. So this is metaphorical touch. Do not touch these people. I feel like I have to say that. I'm on camera, so. Yeah, they need to be checking forewarned about you, right? So So the first touch is when they first walk in, you're going to greet them in the entryway. You're going to greet them when they come in, wherever. Don't make them come to you. If you hear the door open, I like to go greet them, meet them. And it's just kind of an opportunity to approach them, kind of get in their bubble a little bit, and then leave. And then kind of get in their bubble again. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. So greet them in the entryway. I like to use first name only. It makes them feel like they can use first name only. And again, less intrusive. It's going to be more of a friendly, casual conversation here. Hi, I'm Brett. Hello, I'm Sydney. And then when I say hello, I'm going to walk back to where I was set up, all my stuff, and I have my notepad. I don't have a sign-in sheet, and I'm going to write down their name. I'm not going to have them write it down. I'm just going to, when they tell me their name, if you're like me, I forget people's names immediately. I'm really bad at that. Repeat them repeat it back, and then when I turn around, I just say their name on my head until I get back. And then I write it down, because I'll forget it in 5 steps. Especially if you're nervous in there and you're not like, what should I say next, or am I doing? Then you're gonna forget. You're gonna forget immediately. So if I say Sydney, I'm gonna say Sydney, and then I'm gonna write it down. And then say it back as much. Everyone's favorite word in the English language is their name. Say it back to them. Here you go, Sydney. Hey, Sydney, have you seen this? It's a silly sales thing, but it's gonna be more friendly. Write their name down on the notepad. Again, no sign-in sheet. Your sign-in sheet is your notepad, and it takes notes as needed, but you don't give it to them and say, welcome, sign in. It's your notepad. So that's the first touch. Greet them, say their name, write their name down on a notepad. That's it. Graham, do you have your notepad right next to you?
Yes.
Do you use that for your open house? Do you have like a past open house written down on there?
Not on this one, but I've
No.
got like 4
I know you do. I wanted to show, will you go grab one? I just kind of want to show people what it
like
might,
one that has
that you did an open house on, yeah. Because if you get 3 or 4 people come through an open house, I'm assuming you do it like I do it.
I do it a little, one thing different than you do.
It's probably better.
I'm just surprised you didn't ask me to teach
Yeah, as I'm sitting up here, I'm second guessing my thoughts. Everything I say, I look at Graham like, right? Is that right?
This shows how well organized.
You'll teach the organization class.
Yeah.
Whenever you get it, let me know. But the notepad is kind of the secret weapon a little bit. Again, I don't like sign-in sheets. If I have a sign-in sheet in front of me, I'm very hesitant to put my information on it. If it's just a notepad that you're going to use to provide value to me, it's a lot more, it's less formal, it's more casual. It's exactly right. So when I get your information, I write your name down. You don't have to sign in. And then as you're telling me things, as we keep talking, I'm writing things down. I'm taking notes. You know, it's like, I'm your realtor, right? If you tell me something you want, I'm writing it down. I'm your realtor. I'm creating this relationship right in front of your eyes. Whether you like it or not, I'm your realtor now until you tell me to stop. Did you find one?
I just realized yesterday I actually
Threw the old one away?
put them in my database.
Oh yeah, nice, good work. So the notepad is very important about capturing information. It's a very low obligation way to grab information, so I like the notepad a lot better. So first touch is we greet them at the door, get their first name, walk back, write it down. So again, we're kind of getting in their bubble and then kind of leaving their bubble again. So they're not as threatened as if I approach them and I'm like, oh God, this guy's gonna follow me around or this, whatever. So I'm coming, I'm going, I'm coming, I'm giving them freedom to kind of walk around. So the second touch is when I'm gonna give them an MLS sheet. So I say hello, meet them at the door, go back, write their name down, grab the MLS sheet, and then I approach them back and I say, here you go. And I usually, I kind of get on their side a little bit, like we're looking at it together, and I kind of show them prices this, square foots this, whatever. Take a look, let me know if you have any questions. And then I kind of walk away from them again, let them start looking. And then I give them, in certain houses, I like to give them an assignment. If it's a 1,200 square foot, 3-bed, 2-bath, it's like 3 bedrooms and a living room and a kitchen, there's not much to look at. Sometimes I skip this piece, but if it's a larger home or there's something really cool outside or if there's something weird in the house or whatever, if there's something odd, it's a good opportunity to call out something weird. Because if they know you're on their side by calling out something weird instead of trying to sell them something weird, then it kind of helps. But give them an assignment. If there's a bathroom that needs to be remodeled or something really old or weird, or ask them about it. Take a look at the whatever and let me know what you think. There's the seller's thinking about remodeling the master bathroom. Let me know if you like it or what you might do to it. Or they're thinking about doing this. Let me know. They want feedback from buyers. Let me know what you think. Something like that. And the reason is it gives them something to do, but it gives them a reason to come back and talk to you at the end before they just walk out the door. So it's just one more. You're trying to set up that third touch, that third conversation. But some houses, if it's weird or if the house is small and there's nothing to go look at, don't be weird and be like, go look at the master and see if it has a door still, or I don't know. Just if there's something you can give them, be thinking about that. And then we're going to ask probing questions. So between touch 2 and touch 3, we're going to ask probing questions. So this is very casual, laid back. I'm not even stopping them to talk. I try to position myself in the house where they might cross my face multiple times. So some people just set up in the kitchen regardless. And if the kitchen's off to one side of the house and they only go into that room once and then they're on the other side of the house the whole time, don't sit there. I sit in living rooms all the time. I put my stuff on the mantle or on the fireplace, or don't feel like you have to sit in the kitchen. Sit where you're going to see them multiple times. Walk from bedroom to bedroom or hallway to kitchen or whatever. The more they cross your face, the more opportunity you have to ask questions, ask probing questions, and build rapport. So sit in the middle of the house somewhere if you can. So we're going to ask. So basically, what's going to happen is I'm going to say, "Here's the piece of paper, blah blah blah. Go take a look." They're going to say, "Okay, great," and they're going to start walking around, looking at stuff. And I'm going to hang out by my stuff, and they're going to kind of go in this room. And they're going to come back out. And when they come back out, I'm going to ask them a probing question. And they're going to go into another room. When they come back out, I'm going to ask them another question. And if they stop and talk to me, great. But if not, what'll normally happen, and the questions are going to be like, you guys live nearby, or are you looking to get in the area? You been looking along, or are you just getting started? You trying to get into the Mustang School District? Just LP Mama stuff, trying to figure out what's going on. And what's going to happen is I'm going to say, you guys live nearby, or you trying to get in the area? They're going to keep walking. They're say, yeah, we were whatever. Blah, blah, blah. They're going to keep walking, and I'm not stopping them. I'm not making them stop and talk to me. I'm bored. You're here, curious what's going on. You know, tell me about yourself. That's all it is. And if they stop and talk, great, keep talking. But most of the time, they're just going to keep walking and answering, because these are very basic, surface level questions, but it's helping me identify what you guys are wanting or needing, right? Basic stuff, like how long you've been looking, are you targeting this area, you know, whatever it might be. We asked that, Henry and I asked that one lady, and they said they've been looking at this house for a few weeks, and it was the first time it's been held open in a while. So I know that they're pretty serious about this specific house, or at least this neighborhood, right? That gave us the information that we wouldn't have known if I just said, hey, welcome, sign in, and they walk around and leave. And then they go make a decision with some realtor they meet online in 3 days. So asking these probing questions tells you where to go with the conversation and how to provide value. As I pass them, I ask a different question. Sometimes my question is going to be building off the last question if they gave me some good information, right? It's just, these are just some common basic ones. If I say, you guys trying to get in the district, and they say, no, we don't have any kids, okay, great. Now I know that. Cross it off. Do you care about the 4th bedroom then? If you don't have any, you know, just 3, okay? I can start asking questions. I'm probing. I'm diving down into what they want and what they need. You must ask questions to provide value. If you don't know what they want, you don't know what they need, don't sell the house. Worst thing you can do is say, God, you got to check out this master closet. Look how awesome this backyard is. They put this amazing granite in. When you're selling the house, they're just like, I got eyes, I can see these things. Like, or you might say, look at this amazing granite. They might think that's the worst granite I've ever seen in my life. Or I told my wife, my husband or wife, I don't want white cabinets. And you're telling me how amazing these white cabinets are. Ask questions. If you're telling, you're not selling. Anyone ever heard that? You need to be asking questions. You don't sell anything by listing features. You ask questions, and in their mind, they start to sell themselves. So basic probing questions. I don't know if anyone has anything different they like to kind of ask to kind of dig into that LP Mama, but these are kind of the things. It's just a way for, again, I'm asking and I'm backing off, and this whole time I'm just getting them comfortable with me. That's it. We've had a conversation, we've talked 2 or 3 times, we've shook hands, all these things. I'm dropping their guard and they're feeling more comfortable with me. That's the whole purpose of this thing. Questions on the second touch and the probing. No touching and no probing. Graham, I saw Graham's wheels turning. I'm going to plug this into ChatGPT. Make this less offensive. Okay, so third touch. Now they've seen the house and they're coming back around to me. Now I'm going to start an actual conversation now and try to gather their information, try to capture their information. The way I like to kick it off is if I gave them a task to go do, I'll ask, what'd you guys think of that task, right? Or tell me what you thought, or tell me what you found. If I don't, then I just ask them for feedback. I say, what do you think? I might even say, what do you think? You want to write an offer? If I think they're, have a sense of humor, or whatever it might be. I just want, what do you think? You like it? Do you hate it? Whatever. And then they're going to tell you why they don't like the property. Backyard, we really want something with a bigger backyard. Nah, we really kind of want to be in a cul-de-sac. We really blah, blah, blah. They're going to tell you something. And this is where you take what they tell you, and you take the probing questions that you asked, and you take all the properties that you previewed, and you put them into the database of your brain, and you kick out something to talk about. This is why you prepare. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail, right? This is why we look at stuff, so that when a conversation happens, I can say, oh, you want a backyard? The one over on Main Street or whatever has it's in a cul-de-sac, it's got a big pie lot, pie-shaped lot, and it's a huge backyard. You guys would love it. Have you seen that one? No, I haven't. Now we get into a conversation about showing it to you. How do I, let me get your email it over to you. I can text it to you in my app, whatever your method of contact acquisition. But that's how you take everything you've probed, everything you've prepared, and everything that they tell you about this house or about what they're looking for, and you sell it back to them. You plug it into your head, and you kick out a response of how can I get their information? What's going to hook them enough to give me their information based on what I've done and previewed? And if you haven't previewed any, if you know nothing about that area, and they say, no, we don't like it, backyard's too big, you're like, okay, you want me to look for houses with bigger backyards? No, man, I have Zillow. I'll look for houses with bigger backyards. Thank you. And they leave. No value. So huge pieces where we want to ask them. They're going to tell you. Ask clarifying questions. We need a bigger backyard. Do you guys have a pretty big backyard right now? I don't know why. Do you guys have a big backyard right now? Do you guys trampoline, playhouse, pool? Like, what are you guys thinking? I'm clarifying questions, trying to find out why. Bedrooms are too small. Are they smaller than the bedrooms you guys have now? You have bigger bedrooms at home? No. Like the people are just gonna say stuff. So they're trying to get out, right? They're trying to leave. So I'm like, oh, why? Tell me about that. Is kind of what I'm saying. And I'm kind of asking questions to get to the root. And then again, ask questions, clarifying questions, figure out what they want and need, the LP Mama stuff, and then based on what you have previewed and know about the area, suggest something. And then when you suggest something, get them interested, hopefully, and then you go in for their information. As you see them, it's kind of a gauge, and there's no science to this, but as I get them kind of hooked on some information or an area or a thing, I kind of go into it and I kind of stop myself. And I'm kind of like, yeah, it's over on whatever. It's got a big backyard. It's kind of got actually, you know what? Let me just shoot it over to you. Here. And I reach over and I say, jot down your email. I'm going to send it to you real quick as soon as I get out of here. And then they're going to, if I got them, if my timing is right and my gauge is right, they're going to say, okay. And they're going to come down and they're going to start writing their email. So once I've got them and I've asked for the information, I've provided enough value that they're comfortable giving me their email. I ask for it. Ask for email only. It's very less intrusive than a phone number, right? Email only. Okay, I'll commit to that. Ask for email first. As they go in and start writing, when they're about halfway done with their email, say, jot your phone number down too, and I'll text you and make sure the email goes through. And it's very confrontational to stand up and say, no, email's fine. And most people will just be like, okay, I'm already giving you, okay, whatever, and they'll just do it. 90% of the time, they're just going to go ahead and jot down the cell phone with it. Start with something low committal, and then come in with the cell phone after, while they're writing it, right? Make sense? This is a little bit of an art, but if you can get them, right when they do that @ sign, bam, hit them with the phone number. Brett Kreger okay, go ahead and jot the phone number down, and 90% of the time, they're just going to say, okay. But if you go in and ask for, hey, jot down your phone information or your what, sometimes it's a little more intrusive, because email I can just ignore, I can block, I can delete. And then, so it's less committal for them originally. But I mean, anyone, I don't know, Henry saw us do it. I don't know if you did it with the second guy. Same thing. It's just, it's easy. Is that the same way you do it still too? Graham, email first, phone number?
No.
How do you do it?
When at the top of the page, the very first thing I do on my note.
Oh, you write email, phone number?
My name and my phone number and then my email address, so when somebody goes to write it down, they know how other people are doing it. Because if you get somebody's phone number, they look at text. It's much easier to harass than like you said.
Yeah.
So,
Which is why people are slower to put it. But so what you're doing is you're going off, what's the word? Not peer pressure, but social proof. Like other people are putting their phone number. So maybe I should put my phone number. I've done that too. I've started my open house with 3 fake names and 3 fake phone numbers to show that people are coming through and people are giving information.
And if somebody does have an issue with it, they won't write it.
Yeah.
They'll just put their email address down there.
Yeah. And the more value you provide through this process, if you really crush it, people are giving you their information before you ask for it. Would you send that to me? Would you tell me about? And that's, again, that's a strong buying sign that you've provided value and they want that information. But I've found it kind of, again, start with something low committal and then ask for something more committal. But same thing, it's like.
Well, and I had kind of forgotten about that.
about that. If it's working, it's working.
But that definitely does work.
Yeah.
I mean, they say that the human brain can't do 2 things, process them at the exact same time.
So if you just tell them what to do.
Once they're
Yeah.
done on their email, you
Yeah.
can do something else and they just.
Keep doing it. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So that's my strategy for getting the contact information. Provide the value. Figure out what they want and what they need. Use what you've previewed to bait a hook, and then when they go in for it, stop yourself as you're explaining it. That's kind of my thing. Is like it just popped in my head. Like, you know what? Why don't I just email it to you? Like, this isn't my whole freaking plan the entire time. So I kind of like stop myself. I'm like, how about I just do this? And And then it makes it real easy because it's impromptu, it's value providing. I'm doing this for you, not for me. And if you've framed it right and provided value, it comes across as value, not as information grabbing. A couple cheat codes. Some cheat codes I found later in my career that I started using every single time. So first one is brand new listings. If I'm doing an open house on Sunday and I'm preparing and printing everything on Sunday, I'll pull up the market and I'll look for the newest listing in that area. Right, so if I'm in this zip code or this neighborhood or whatever, and a house just hit the market today or yesterday or in the last 3 days or something, it's unlikely that any buyer has seen it yet, especially open house shoppers. And so I have that written down on my sheet or I have it printed. I don't put it on my list. I have it special written, like it's a smoking hot property that I'm the only one who can get you in and look at it. It's kind of how I phrase it and sell it. So when we're talking, if I think it's going to meet the criteria, I'm going to say, did you guys see the brand new one that just hit the market? See ya, thank you. Did you guys see the brand new one that just hit the market over on whatever? It has this, it's super cool. No, I haven't seen it yet. And that's where normally if I have my phone, I either go in for the email thing and I say, it's awesome, but actually let me just shoot it to you real quick. That way you can look at it and drive by it. Or if you have your MLS on your phone, the MLS Go app, I started using this, I will have it pulled up on the MLS Go app. And I'll say, actually, I'll even like show it. I'll like pull it up and kind of show it. I'm like, actually, here, let me just text it to you. And then I just hit share, hit text, have them type in their phone number, and I see it buzz, and now I know I got a real live phone number. So that's kind of if there's a smoking hot property that just hit the market, it's like fishing with dynamite during that open house. Everyone wants to know about it almost every single time. So that's one cheat code I use if you got a really hot, cool listing that just hit. The other off-market coming soon listings, FSBO listings, stuff like that, stuff that's not easily identified on Zillow. People, if you know better, if you know less, because if someone's been shopping in an area for 2 months, they know a lot about the school district. They know a lot about the neighborhoods. They've probably looked at a handful of houses, been to a lot of open houses. If they know more about the area than you do, why on earth would they work with you? Why on earth would they give you information? You have to know about stuff that they don't know about. So like I was saying earlier, if I'm working an area or a zip code or Deer Creek or whatever it might be, I'm knowing about future developments. I'm knowing what builders are going in there. I know about what did a builder just start at slab phase that won't be ready for 4 months. I want those price points, those square foots, those floor plans. The more I have that they can't get online, I'm a freaking gold mine for these people. Why on earth would they go to anyone other than me? I am the gatekeeper of the information. That's what real estate agents used to be a long, long time ago. And then we gave everything to the internet. And now everyone thinks we're glorified door openers. So go be that thing again. It's hard. You used to, I wasn't around when this happened, but the MLS used to be a book. And you'd have to go around and you'd see Polaroids or one shots of the exterior in the book. And that's how you'd look at the properties and you'd have to go shop them. You'd go to Brokers Opens because there weren't 20 pictures or 55 pictures of the property. You have to go around and look at these houses. So an agent going out doing all these things is going to be real valuable. Now everything's out there and agents got real easy. We got fat. And this is how you can separate yourself. It's by doing these things, being these things for clients, and you're going to get more business than you can handle. So again, if I'm driving around, I see a construction sign, if I see a dumpster out front, if I see a moving truck, I'm stopping the car and I'm asking what's going on. Is this coming available? If I know people flip houses in the area, if I know people build in the area, if I see a new construction going on, like an infill, a house, was torn down or rebuilt on or whatever, I'm asking questions about all this stuff. When I was brand new, I used to work I used to work in the Village, Oklahoma City. I lived there and I worked there. And there was 2 flippers that flipped a ton of stuff in there, and I knew they always had 3 or 4 projects going on at a time, just in this zip code. And so every time I did an open house, what do you got coming up? Has this sold yet? Is this still available? And I had 3 or 4 stuff that no one else knew about. Me, and he didn't put it on the market. When he was done, he put a FSBO sign out in front, and he never listed them. And I knew about all these upcoming. I would show his houses every single weekend almost, and they would never buy them because he priced them insanely. But it was an easy hook to get these people. We'd show a house, take them somewhere, and now they're my clients, and I just show them what's on the MLS now. So 2 cheat codes is find a smoking hot new property that's awesome and attractive or whatever, and then Second thing is know about everything going on. Know about everything going on. Again, that's an effort thing. That's not a skill thing. That's not a talent thing. It's how many houses can you go preview and look at, and how many phone calls can you call of signs and all kinds of stuff to be more valuable to your clients. Questions on the third touch, the information getting piece. This is the hardest piece. This is the piece that requires a little bit of skill in communication because you're asking for information. This is the piece that took me the longest. I could talk to anyone and be friendly with anyone all day long. When it comes to asking for the business and getting the information, that's the part that took a while for me to get real comfortable with. But the more valuable you are, the easier that becomes. When you know you've got information, asking for their stuff's simple, easy.
Based on your experience, if you have 2 or 3 prospects coming at the same time, how do you handle this?
Yes. So the question is, if I have 2 or 3 open house buyers walk in at the same time, how do I handle it? You can't. The goal is to build rapport, find out what they want, capture information. You can't do that with 3 people at once. So I pick someone. I pick someone strategically, not based on who I think has the most money or who I think whatever. It's who do I think I can relate with the most. Most people skew towards their demographic. So if someone walks in and it's a husband and wife with 2 kids that are 6 and 8 years old, I'm going to connect with them really well, right? Because that's me. I'm married with 2 kids that are 6 and 8. If an empty nest couple walks through, I can work with that client as well. But between married 2 kids and empty nesters, I'm going to connect more with this one. I can relate with this one. I know what they're looking for, right? So you just kind of have to judge isn't the right word, but pick who you think you can connect with. Not who you think's going to buy a house, who has the most money or whatever, anything like that. It's who do I think I'm going to connect with the most, and that's how I pick. There's no right answer or wrong answer. You're guessing.
Also, if you can talk at a level that's
Oh, loud.
enough for
Yeah,
other
loudly.
people to hear, I can't tell you how many times I've talked to one people and I've said
And someone walks in.
2 or 3 cool things, and there's 3 or 4 groups in there.
Yeah.
And they'll wait for me to get done.
Yeah.
And they'll come back.
Yes, when you.
And want to talk.
When you are when you're in this section of it, the displaying your knowledge section, yeah, let everyone hear what you have to say. Because yeah, that absolutely happens. People will wait, or they'll come in the other room and say, which house were you talking about? And it's like, I want that information. So yeah, when you're in that phase of it, talk loud. But if like all 3 walk in at the same time, and you're trying to like, who should I probe and ask questions to and stuff, and who should I try to latch onto a little bit, you kind of just have to pick. Because you can't do all 3. Because someone will have a question, or if neighbors walk in, you got to run neighbors off because they'll sit there and bug you for 30 minutes. And talk to them, be polite to them because those are potential listings, but don't let them sit there and talk to you for 30 minutes while 3 buyers walk in and leave. And don't be afraid to say, give me 1 second, and then go over here and chat with someone if you need to, and work the room a little bit. But yeah, try to pick who you think you might be able to relate to and connect with. Is kind of the answer. And then the second answer is talk loud so everyone can hear the value that you provide. Good question. We're almost done, guys. 2 more slides, and I promise we're going to let you out of here. So the follow-up. Fortune's in the follow-up. I don't care if you crush it in the open house and get everyone's information. If you don't follow up with them, you're not going to sell them a house 100% of the time. So set up, first thing you want to do, plug them into your CRM and or your MLS search. Set that up for you so it can start reminding you what they need and want. Contact them the same day. If you got their information, they should get a text or an email from you at like 4:30 after that open house saying, thanks so much for coming by. Enjoyed chatting with you. I'm going to do that thing I said I'm going to do. If I said I was going to do this or send this email or find out this information, great chatting with you. I'm going to hop on that. I'll let you know when I'm done, or I'll reach out, whatever. But they have to hear from you right now, right then. Know that when you're following up with them, the average, you have to talk to someone 7 times before you can make the sale. So you're going to send them an email and they're going to not respond. You're going to send them a text, nothing. Call, voicemail. Email, text, call, nothing. Don't expect them to respond to you until you provide value. Think of it that way. They're not ghosting you. You just haven't hit the button yet. You haven't sent what they want to see yet. To us, this is the most important thing on the planet. To them, they've got soccer practice and ballet practice, and they got to get back and make dinner, and they got to do this and that and blah, 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 blah. You got a million things. Shopping for home's one of them. And so the minute you provide value, priority is going to shoot to the top. The minute you send them something they love, it's going to shoot to the top. But don't expect them to follow up and say, thanks, Graham, you're working super hard for us. Appreciate you. They're not going to do that. And if they're not reading the emails, whatever, keep sending it. They're seeing it, I promise. So know that they're not going to respond. Don't follow up twice and stop. Follow up until they tell you to stop or until they say, I bought something else. And don't expect them to respond. What will happen is, I had a phenomenal conversation with someone one time, talked to them for 30 minutes, met their kids, talking to them about their sports, everything. Leave, didn't hear from them for like 3 weeks. Probably sent them 7 emails across 3 weeks. Finally sent them one. 5 minutes later, they respond and say, can we go see this today? Just the minute I sent them something they wanted, they were on it again. They're just doing stuff, right? It's not, they're not taking it as seriously as we are, right? So provide value, and the minute you provide the right value, they're going to say, let's go look. The chance of capturing someone as a client goes up significantly. What is it, 92% of stats are made up? I think this is one of them. So 70%.
The same one for a while.
Yeah, I know. So I'm going to say significantly. The chance significantly goes up if you show them a house. This is why I love schedule an appointment right after. Or like when you're doing new construction, taking them down the street to another property of the same builder in the same neighborhood. The more FaceTime, they start to create a little bit of obligation. They feel like you're showing them stuff, working, spending time with them. But likelihood of using you goes up significantly if you can show them houses. So get out and get an appointment with them. If they ask about something, say, let's go take a look. Get out and take a look at it right away. The first showing is the most important. Get out as quick as you can in the first showing. So how do we follow up with certain people? You need to categorize your buyers. We categorize them into want to, need to, have to. And the name doesn't really matter. It's more about the motivation and the timeline. So I've heard people say it multiple ways, but here's kind of what it looks like. You've got buyers that want to buy a house, need to buy a house, and have to buy a house. So as you meet them, LP Mama is going to place them in one of these buckets. Want to is going to be 6 to 18 months out. They're kicking tires. They just started thinking about it. They want to, but they don't have to. My parents want to. They've been looking for a house for maybe 5 years. And when they find one, they wrote an offer on one a couple weeks ago. Didn't get it, but they'll wait 5 more years probably. So they're just when you meet these people, and there's a lot of professional open housers that you'll meet. If you really start doing open houses significantly, continuously in a certain area, you'll see the same people. I met a guy who bought a Prius so that he could drive around on Sundays for low cost and look at open houses. Saw him 3 times in 3 weekends. And I'm like, you're getting out everywhere. Yeah, I bought that car so I could get out. And I was like, get out of here. So when you meet these people, they're interested, but there's no urgency. There's no motivation. They're interested. They would do it. Single guys are the worst. I think we talked about this, Nate. Single guys are the worst. Single guy can live at mom's house on a futon and be fine. Wouldn't bother him, which is, I think, what Nate's doing. Is a very successful engineer, lives at home. I'm sure his parents are more motivated to get him out than he is. So single guys are brutal. They have nothing drives them. So want to buyers, they're 6 to 18 months out, low motivation. Put them on long-term nurture drip campaigns, CRM drip campaigns, MLS drip campaigns. You're just trying to stay in front of them. Try to reach out to them maybe once a month, maybe every other month. Just stay in contact with them because motivations change all the time. But just stay in contact with them. Need to buyers where tear is motivation, but no deadline. So a need to buyer is someone where there is motivation. We're pregnant, we need another bedroom. We're getting married in the fall. We're whatever it might be, right? There's a motivation, but there is no deadline approaching, right? So I'm going to be 3 to 6 months out probably. We're starting the process. I'm going to move. This motivation's coming, but it's further out. So you want to talk to these people weekly. These are your pipeline. 3 to 6 months, kind of your pipeline. These are people you're showing houses to, not every day, not even every week, but we're looking. They're looking at your portal. They're sending you questions. You're communicating. This is kind of your pipeline, your 3 month to 6 month pipeline. And then there's the have to buyers. They have an approaching deadline. Something is driving them that they need to make a move, right? Maybe it's new job loss, school starting, divorce. Something's happening, lease is expiring. Something's happening, and there is a date in the future where I have got to have a house by, right? Time has snuck up on me, and these people you need to talk to every day or every other day. If you identify them as this, then you need to be all over them. We're calling them, we're texting them, we're not sending drip campaigns. I'm shopping the MLS for them and I'm sending them individual stuff. These are 0 to 60 day buyers. And remember, these what I call right now buyers, have to buyers, 1 in every 7 or 10 of them that walk through your open house should be this. If you sit 52 open houses, 1 every single week, the averages will play out that you should have 1 of these walk in just about every week. Maybe you catch them, maybe you don't, but they're walking in. Same with these people. 2 to 3 of these people are walking in every single week. Remember, these people are the 1,000 people a month or a week that I was talking about that are going to buy in the next 60 days, and they're shopping open houses right now. So you do open houses to build a pipeline, but you're going to sell houses. You're going to find the low-hanging fruit up here too. So as you meet them, you're talking to them every day. You're putting them in your CRM. You're shopping houses. This is when you're heavy in production. Every morning you wake up, you open the laptop, you look at the hot sheets. What's new hit the market? Do any of these new ones match my criteria? Because you might create a criteria in your MLS that is very rigid, right? You create a circle or a polygram or something like that, and the house might be a block outside of your criteria. It would be perfect for them, but it didn't get caught. So if you got these have-to buyers, I'm trying to put them in a house, right? I'm searching the MLS for them. I know they got 60 days to do something. So every morning I'm looking at the hot sheets, what's new, what's price dropped, what's back on the market. I'm shopping it. I see here, do I have any buyers in this area? No, okay, and I'm shopping the MLS. I'm scouring it. So these are the ones you're gonna make money on right away. Buyers and sellers need to buy and sell right now. That's how you go out and build your business now. And then pipeline's how you build some consistency. And so 2 to 3 of these should be walking through your open house almost every single week, if you're getting 5 to 10 on average. Does that make sense? So there's so much, again, there's $5,000 to $15,000 walking through your open house every single week. And if you're not doing it, you're not even giving yourself a chance. And if you're not prepared, you're giving yourself a tiny chance. Get better. Go be the person that can capture $5,000 to $15,000 every single weekend. And then when you do that, it's literally how much money do you want to make? How many open houses do I want to do? What prices do I want to set? It's one of the most dynamic tools a real estate agent can have. I'm literally opening a house and people are coming to me that want to buy stuff. They're walking into my house. There's nothing else like it. Huge. If you're not doing it and you're trying to sell houses and you're trying to grow and you're not doing it, what else are we doing? So huge, 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 huge. Okay, next steps. Take action. Go find your open house today. Be intentional. It's Thursday. If you're going to do one on Sunday, you need to have it identified today. Go take action. Do the steps I showed you. Find the less than 2 weeks on the market. Find the vacant. Find the house that's your buyer avatar, all that stuff. Yeah, you can go, if you go through here, there's one. Be intentional, find your open house, preview your homes. If you're sitting open houses but you're not previewing 5 a week, again, you're selling yourself short. You're wasting 2 hours of your life. Go spend an extra 2 hours and make it work. Make $5,000 to $15,000, and then provide value. You have to be valuable. Don't expect just because I'm there, I'm going to get contact information. That is lazy. That's a shortcut, and the internet has made it harder for us to provide value. But you can still go do it. It's as easy as it's ever been. People just don't think they can do it. So go out and become the person that deserves the contact information of that buyer. That's it, guys. This one was a long one. It was a good one, though. That's good. Audrey, how was it? Let's go. Yeah, right. Let's find a wall. Let's go. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.